I want to take a few minutes. I'm out here cleaning up my boat, getting ready for a trip coming up this week, and I want to take a few minutes and show you the type of rod we use, the rigs, and a secret bait that we use to catch all them spots this week. Now, when you're out there fishing for spots, usually they have a spring run and they also have a fall run. The fall run usually is anywhere between I'd say the end of September to probably the end of October. It really depends on the year, okay? So what you need to do is, if you want to go down and catch them, just call down to some of the bait and tackle stores and they'll tell you when they're running. Now, when you get down there and you put your boat in and you head out, it's not no magical thing. You don't have to have a $800 depth finder or anything like that. It does help to find some structure or drop-offs or channels and that type of thing. But what you have to do is just look for people. When you're going out there and you find a bunch of boats congregated in one area, that's a pretty good sign. That's where the spots are biting, and that's what me and Larry did. We went out there and we found a place, there was a bunch of boats, and we got ourselves anchored up far enough away from everybody else so, you know, everybody would have room to fish, and just started fishing. Now, what I like to use for a rod is I like to use, this is a Berkley 6.5 foot medium action rod, and I have a Tika Ultra reel on here with 10-pound test fluorocarbon line. Okay, you don't really need much more than that for what you're fishing for these particular fish, because the rig that we use has got a real strong leader. I think it uses like 50-pound test line. Now the rig that we use is these right here. Now I call these spot rigs. Now they might be a different name for them, but that's what I call them. Okay, they have a swivel at one end where your line goes, and then they have another swivel. They have a swivel at one end where your line goes, then they come down to another swivel, and that's where your sinker will go. Okay, so and all they are is it's just a rig with about 8 inches of line in between each swivel, and they have a little plastic jig on there. Now what I do is I'll take at the end of my little jig and I'll put on a number 4 circle hook. Now, you know I'm a believer in circle hooks. I love circle hooks because they do the job they're intended to do. When I first started using circle hooks, I started losing a lot of fish, because you're not supposed to pick up the rod and set the hook like on conventional hooks. You're just supposed to pick up the rod and start reeling. And 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen with that circle hook is it's going to come out. And when it does, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to catch the fish right on the lip of the mouth. Start using them and you check, and when you catch a fish, it will it'll come out and it'll hook them every time right in the lip of the mouth. So anyways, that's the rig we use. I happen to use that one there that had 2 orange jigs on it. Now Larry, he was using one like this, and it had an orange and it had a white on it. Same thing. Does color matter? I really don't think so. I think the fish are really targeting in on bait and that type of thing. At the end, I've got an ounce bell sinker on here. That really depends on the amount of current that you're fishing in. Where we were fishing either an incoming or an outgoing tide, and it probably was moving anywhere between 7 to 10 knots. So, you know, 1 ounce was actually a minimum of what we needed for a sinker. Depth wise, we were fishing 15 feet roughly in that area where we happened to be set up at. There was a creek that came in the back, and a pretty good sized creek that came in from the back, plus the main channel that came down that the boats run up and down on, and we were right on the edge of the channel. To our backs, it was probably 10 feet, and it dropped off in the teens to the area we were fishing. We were actually casting into the drop-off and pulling up. Now, to catch spots, there's different baits you can use. You can use mud minnows, you can use bloodworms, which is a favorite for them down there, and you can use little silver spinners. And that type of thing. It just really depends on what they happen to be on that particular day. we found something that worked really good. Now, because bloodworms can be very expensive, and not only that, but if the spots are running, they can be hard to find because everybody's buying them up. And that was the case with us, you know. I mean, we couldn't find any, so we happened to find out that there was another alternative that worked equally as well. And what they are is they call them fish bites, okay? And this is the saltwater edition of fish bites. And it is bloodworm impregnated, okay? It's enhanced with bloodworm flavor. And these are neat. All you guys that know me from over the years know I'm not going to endorse something or use it if I don't believe in it, okay? Guys, I believe in this product here. And this is basically all it is. It's just a long strip of a plastic-like material. It's not really plastic. I don't know what it is, but inside here is a mesh. And in that mesh is this stuff is just impregnated into it, and the mesh is what actually holds it onto the hook, okay? Now, what we did is we just cut off small pieces, and I have a piece in here that I cut off. Let me get it out. I'm going to show you how I put it on. Now, these cost probably $5 or $6, depends on where you get them. And, you know, you can take one strip like this, one guy, and it'll probably catch 30 fish. It's hard to believe, but I'm serious as a heartbeat that it'll catch, you know, a lot of fish. That right there is the size that I was using. I'm going to rig it for you real quick and show you how I rig it. All I did is I just took and cut me off a piece, okay, like so, and I would just take it on my circle hook, and all I would do is I would hook it through one end and then just bend it over and hook it through the other end. Now, once you get that on there, they're almost impossible to get off. Until there's nothing there but threads. And that right there, folks, you can see it's kind of white, but that'll turn kind of red when it hits the water, and it starts putting scent out in the water, and that's what attracts them spots. And I'm here to tell you, these guys aren't sponsors on the show or anything like that, but this is a real good product, and it's a good alternative to bloodworms. And all the fish we caught that day, if you watch, you'll see that's what we caught them on. We caught them on that right there, that product, them fish bites is what we caught them on. They come in all different flavors and different colors for all different species of fish. You can get them for perch, you can get them for, I think you can get them for walleyes, you can get them for all kinds of saltwater fish. But anyhow, that little piece right there would probably catch 9 to 12 fish before you had to put another one on. You could have just a little piece on there, and them spots would still find it and they would still take it. So just remember that, they're fish bites. But that's basically what we did down there that week. We went out, we caught a bunch of spots, and we had a real good time doing it. It was a lot of fun. And if you like eating fish there, saltwater fish, that's a good way to get you a good mess of them. So if you have any questions or comments, just email us at carolinamagazine@gmail.com, or you can just comment here at the bottom of the, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go down the comment section right there and ask us some questions or whatever you might want. So anyways, if you're going to go down anywhere, Murrells Inlet, any place like that, and you're going to fish the intercoastal waterway area and catch spots, that's a real good technique to use. That's a real good bait to use. I think it's more inexpensive versus a live bait, and I think it just happened to, all week long, it worked just as good as live bait presentation. So just remember that, okay?